Imagine this. You wake up tomorrow morning, and instead of dragging yourself out of bed to commute to a job that drains you, you get to decide, truly decide, what to do with your day. Maybe you spend it fishing. Maybe you finally launch that bakery you've been talking about for years. Or maybe you take a Tuesday nap at 1 p.m. simply because you can. That's not laziness. That's freedom. Now here's the punchline. The average American saves just 4.6% of their income. That means it takes anywhere from 13 to 45 years just to save enough for 1 year's worth of living expenses. Let that sink in. 45 years to buy yourself 1 year of freedom. Doesn't that feel like working your whole life just to rent a single summer off? So the real question is, what if there's another way? What if financial independence wasn't about pinching pennies, cutting coupons, and avoiding lattes, but instead about building enough wealth so you can choose how to live? Because here's the truth. Financial independence isn't about retiring early. It's about choice. If this topic stirred something in your soul, don't let it fade. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and comment below saying, "I will be the first millionaire in my family." When I see your comment, I will know you're one of the wise ones, and I'll be sure to leave you a heart. Let's continue. So what is the real difference between financial independence and retirement? Let's play out two different stories. In the first, you follow the traditional plan. You work for 40 to 50 years, punch in and punch out, collect a paycheck, save a little in your 401k, and hope Social Security is still around when you're 70. Then if your health holds up, you might finally take that trip to Italy you've been dreaming about. In the second story, you decide to flip the script. You focus on building financial independence, not retirement. Instead of living in survival mode and waiting for old age, you create wealth that gives you freedom now, while you still have energy to hike, dance, travel, start businesses, and live boldly. So here's the real difference. Retirement says, wait until you're old, then you can finally live. Financial independence says, build smart now, so you can live fully while you're still young enough to enjoy it. So ask yourself, which story do you want your life to tell? Here's the part people often overcomplicate. The math behind financial independence is actually refreshingly simple. Take your annual expenses, say $40,000, multiply that by 25. That's your target number, $1 million. That's how much you'd need invested to live comfortably off your money forever, based on the 4% rule, which says you can safely withdraw 4% each year without running out. But here's where it gets interesting. The speed at which you reach that number depends entirely on your savings rate. Save 5% of your income. Congratulations, you'll need about 66 years to hit financial independence. You might get there right around the time you're too tired to care. Save 25%. Now you're looking at around 32 years. That's still a long road, but at least it's within one lifetime. Save 50%. You've cut it to 17 years. Save 75%. 7 years. 7. That's shorter than the average time it takes to finish college and grad school combined. So what's the takeaway? The question isn't whether financial independence is possible, it's how fast you want it. Once you have decided how fast you want it, let's look at the different roads to get there. Now, not everyone's version of freedom looks the same, and that's okay. That's why there are different flavors of what's called FIRE, which stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. 1. Lean FIRE. This is minimalism in action. You live frugally, keep expenses low, and hit your freedom number faster. It's like camping. You don't need much to survive, but it's not for everyone. 2. Fat FIRE. This is the opposite of lean FIRE. You maintain your current lifestyle, maybe even upgrade it, but it requires more wealth saved. Think of it as traveling first class instead of economy. You'll need a bigger ticket, but the ride is smooth. 3. Barista FIRE. This is somewhere in the middle. You save enough to cover most expenses, but still work part-time for the extras, like health insurance or fancy vacations. Plus, you might actually enjoy the work if it's on your terms. 4. Coast FIRE. This requires building a strong investment base early, then letting compound interest carry the load. You still work, but with way less stress, because you know your future is already covered. The beauty is this: there's no one-size-fits-all. It's about designing a life that matches your values, not someone else's checklist. But here is the bigger question: what's it all for? Let's get real for a second. Money is not the goal. Freedom is the goal. Money is just the tool that buys you time, options, and peace of mind. So I ask you, do you want to keep trading hours for dollars until the system says you can stop? Or do you want to control your time, your choices, your life? If money weren't an obstacle, what would you be doing tomorrow? Some people laugh at the idea of fire, saying I could never give up my Starbucks or Netflix. But the real sacrifice isn't coffee or subscriptions. It's giving up decades of your life in exchange for just enough money to get by. You may be asking yourself, where do I start from? Let me offer you some practical strategies for your financial freedom. Most of us think we know where our money goes. But if I asked you to list every dollar you spent last month, could you do it? Odds are, you'd remember the big stuff: rent, car payment, maybe groceries. But what about the late-night Amazon order you don't even remember placing? Or the 6 streaming services quietly charging your card every month, even though you only watch 2? This is why the first step to financial independence is not glamorous. It's not some magic stock tip or a millionaire's secret. It's as simple as tracking every single dollar, just for a month. Because you can't optimize what you don't measure. And here's the funny thing: you'll start to notice patterns. The $20 problem becomes real. $20 here for takeout, $20 there for coffee runs, $20 on gadgets you swore would change your life. Add them up, and suddenly you've got hundreds, maybe thousands, leaking out of your budget like water from a cracked pipe. But here's the good news: the goal isn't to eliminate fun. It's not about becoming a financial monk who survives on beans and filtered tap water. It's about being intentional. Spend lavishly on what you love, and cut ruthlessly on what you don't. Here's where most people make a mistake. They focus entirely on cutting costs, which is like trying to lose weight by eating less but never exercising. Sure, you'll make progress, but there's a limit. You can only cut so much. You still need to eat, live somewhere, and wear clothes that don't get you arrested in public. But when it comes to income, there's no ceiling. Think about it. What's the worst that can happen if you ask for a raise? They say no, and you're back where you started. But what's the best case scenario? That one conversation could put thousands of extra dollars in your pocket every year. Or consider side hustles. In today's America, opportunity is everywhere. Driving Uber on weekends, freelancing online, flipping furniture, selling crafts on Etsy, starting a small consulting gig. And when you stack even a modest side hustle on top of your day job, those dollars don't just add up. They multiply when invested. Investing is the rocket fuel. And in the American system, we've got incredible tools like the 401ks, Roth IRAs, HSAs, all with tax advantages that supercharge your money. Even if you only start with $50 a week, you're buying time, freedom, and peace of mind for your future self. The key isn't perfection, it's momentum. You may be thinking, who can really do this? Critics love to say, well, that fire stuff only works for people making 6 figures. But here's the reality. The principle works at any income level. Spend less than you earn. Invest the difference. That's it. Now, does a surgeon in New York City have a faster track than a teacher in Kansas? Of course. But even if you don't retire at 35, you can still escape the paycheck-to-paycheck trap decades earlier than your neighbors. And you know what? That peace of mind is priceless. Someone might say that fire means misery. People imagine eating rice and beans in a dark apartment, refusing to see friends because going out costs money. But modern financial independence isn't about deprivation. It's about alignment. You stop buying junk that doesn't matter, so you can afford the life that does. Wouldn't you rather spend $100 on a weekend camping trip with friends that you'll remember for years instead of $100 on impulse buys that you forget the next day? Let's put some flesh on this. Meet Lucy. She's a marketing coordinator in Chicago, pulling in $55,000 a year. Not bad, but like many Americans, she felt like she was always broke. She had the job, the apartment, the coffee habit, and the creeping anxiety that one emergency could wipe her out. After tracking her expenses for a month, Lucy discovered she was spending $800 a month on takeout, coffee runs, and treat-yourself impulse shopping. The kicker? Half the time she didn't even enjoy it. The food was cold, the gadgets sat unused, and the thrill faded as soon as the receipt hit her inbox. So Lucy made some shifts. Nothing crazy. No moving into a van or sewing her own clothes. She negotiated a $5,000 raise at work. She launched a side hustle doing freelance social media consulting, and she redirected that $800 leak into her savings account through automation, so it disappeared before she could spend it. Fast forward 2 years, Lucy had a 6-month emergency fund, was saving 35% of her income, and realized she actually loved cooking at home. It became her stress relief after work. Her side hustle grew, and suddenly she wasn't dreaming about financial independence. She was on track to hit it by 45. The best part? Lucy didn't feel deprived. She felt empowered. Here are the main takeaways that could change everything for you. 1. Financial independence is about making work optional, not about quitting life. 2. Your FIRE number equals annual expenses times 25. 3. Savings rates are the game changer. A 50% savings rate gets you there in about 17 years. 4. You don't have to pick one lifestyle. Lean FIRE, Fat FIRE, Barista FIRE, Coast FIRE. Choose what fits you. 5. Track your expenses for 1 month. You'll be shocked at what you discover. 6. Focus on growing your income as much as you cut costs. That's where the real acceleration happens. 7. Invest in low-cost index funds through 401ks, Roth IRAs, and similar tax-advantaged accounts. 8. Even if you never retire early, building these habits reduces stress and gives you financial security. Financial independence isn't about becoming a millionaire overnight or living like a hermit. It's about taking control. It's about waking up one day and realizing you're no longer trapped by bills, bosses, or fear. And maybe the real gift of this journey isn't even the destination. It's the confidence you build along the way. Every dollar you save, every skill you learn, every investment you make, it's proof that you're no longer waiting for someone else to take care of you. So here's the question. When your future self looks back on today, will they thank you for starting or regret that you didn't? Because the truth is simple. Financial freedom isn't reserved for lucky people. It's reserved for the people who decide. Until next time, don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe to this channel. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.